Hey guys, Anthony Bandiero here, attorney, senior legal instructor for Blue Gold Law Enforcement Training. Another roadside chat from an officer. Question comes from an officer in Florida. And basically, I think it comes down to this. Can you clarify protective sweeps at murder scenes? All right, here's what my officer says. I watched your video regarding protective sweeps where you referenced a case called Mincy versus Arizona, a 1978 case. I'll give you a little background in a second, where there is no murder scene exception, under the Fourth Amendment. So if we respond to a reported shooting in a driveway of a residence, wouldn't we have exigent circumstances to conduct a warrantless sweep of the residence for possibly other injured parties or to see if the perpetrator was still on scene? In similar fashion, we typically follow the path of the bullet trajectory to ensure no one else was hit, similar to a public safety statement type of issue, right? How many shots did you fire, what direction, and so forth. All right. So in order to understand where my officer is coming from, we got to understand what I said before. So under that Mincy case, your police are not allowed to search to basically process a crime scene. In Mincy, very unfortunately, an officer got killed during an undercover operation. The officers then, came in, they arrested Mincy. He actually got shot as well, but he survived. The officers then spent 4 days processing the crime scene without consent, right? Mincy was not asked, nor did he give his consent. And the officers did not get a warrant. Now, the Supreme Court suppressed a lot of the evidence that was obtained during that search of Mincy's residence. Why? Because the Supreme Court said, look, we understand that this is a serious crime. It's a murder of a police officer. However, there is no murder scene exception. You don't get around the Fourth Amendment warrant requirement simply because you have a murder or a very serious crime. Okay. Now, with that in mind, that does not apply to what the officer is talking about here, these protective sweeps. They're totally different. Mincy is about one thing. It's about processing crime scenes. It's about the luminol. It's about the strings and the sticks through the holes to see trajectories. It's about blood splatter, analysis, and basically it's about CSI coming in on the scene and getting trace evidence and stuff. It has nothing to do with two things. Number one, that's pertinent here. Number one is any kind of plain view evidence. See, if the officers sweep let's do a protective sweep of the murder scene to make sure there's no victims, and then they see a gun in plain view, they can absolutely, if they want, seize that gun under plain view. That gun's coming in. They can seize a knife with blood on it. Now, many cops are just going to leave it there and let CSI do or detectives and so forth, and that's fine too. But the point is, it has nothing to do with these plain view seizures as long as the cops were lawfully present, which brings me to my next point, the protective sweeps. Mincy does not prohibit protective sweeps when you reasonably believe more victims or the perpetrator could be inside the house. Therefore, if officers arrive at a crime scene where there is a shooting and they reasonably believe, and I think most of the time they are going to believe this, that the location of the shooting and where that the suspect could have retreated into the home, and he could still be in there, but cops can go in there and sweep it and to take him into custody or to detain him and so forth, because it's not safe to let a perpetrator inside a home with a gun potentially prepare to ambush cops out front, processing the crime scene, getting a warrant. So I see no issue, generally speaking, with with that principle. The same goes with victims. If there's a victim lying dead in the street, and you believe that the altercation came from this house, this house is involved in that altercation, it's reasonable, if you can just, if you articulate, don't just say, per Anthony, I can go in there. It's reasonable to believe that there could be other victims in there. Sometimes you'll have evidence, like there's a blood trail, or people say, yeah, I think somebody else got shot, or there's bullets also through that window, through that door, and so forth. And that's going to give the officer pretty clearly objective evidence that there could be more victims in there. As far as following the trajectory, when you're going to other people's homes that are, not directly involved, use good judgment. You're the ones that are out there having to decide whether or not you're going to go into people's backyards and, make sure you announce your presence. Let's not have a scare a neighbor believing that there's a prowler in the backyard, come out with a gun and you end up shooting him, right? You're going to announce your presence, police, knock on doors, see if everybody's okay. You know, you're going to do things like that and not just kind of, you know, just warrantlessly enter every single house in the trajectory of the bullet, right? But that's the clarification here. And I'm so glad that my cops, you know, when you see these videos and there's something that's not clicking, because when I say things, it makes perfect sense in my small brain. But, you know, when I share these things, sometimes officers are thinking, okay, is Anthony also saying that we can't do protective sweeps? Is that what Mincy's all about? And it's not. And now you know why, but I'm glad you clarified. And so if you have other clarifications, let me know. I'll make another video, right? All right, guys. That's what I got for you. Do me a favor, before you hit that door, you get out of here, hit like, or unlike, right? Dislike, right? That's fine too, but just give me some feedback about if you like these videos. Please subscribe if you're not subscribed. Leave a comment if you have time. And with that, my friends, I'll see you next time.
When it comes to law enforcement training, we are the gold standard. Visit bluetogold.com or call 888-579-7796 to learn more about our training, books, and free webinars. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this channel.